Hi everyone. Today we are celebrating 40 years of Only Fools and Horses, and we've got we've got Steven Woodcock, who played the character Jevon, with us today to just chat all about his time on the show, what he's been up to now, and just what he thinks of the series. So, hello Steven, thanks for joining us.
Hi everyone.
This is so good. I'm so grateful you came on because we just spoke about it a little bit, didn't we, behind the scenes, but Only Fools and Horses is still so big today. Like, can you believe it's still so current? Everyone still knows about it. Like, it's still in everyone's faces, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, it's surprising to me, to be quite honest. I mean, that after 40 years, we've actually got young people that are really interested in the program now. And I'm looking at, you're talking about 5-year-olds that know that I played the character of Jevon, and it's quite amazing, really, to see a program that's actually moved through the generations after 40 years. And, that still keeps me really quite close to the program, in the sense that, it's always on. It never seems to be off. And certainly at weekends, we've got it all the time. So, yeah, it's very surprising, but I'm glad for it, really. And it's really great that we've got such great fans as well.
Yeah, the fans, it's like a cult following. It's such a big fan base. They're like completely obsessed with it still, aren't they?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's the program. The fans are actually totally amazing. I mean, but it really is. It is a cult, really. It's turned into a cult. I mean, you've only got to go to, say, one of the conventions and see thousands of people that turn up and are willing to wait hours to meet the people who played the characters. And it's something that I'd always be very, very glad that it's a program that I've done, and no one knew the success that it was going to have, and so I'm really grateful, really.
Yeah. Do you think it's still relevant or relatable to today's audience then, like the younger generations? You said you've known 5-year-olds to even know you played it. Do you think it's still got that sort of place in today's sort of realm of things?
Yes, I do. I think it's because it's the way characters are. They're dealing with things of life, real life. They're not dealing with things that were that was just simply of a time. You've got things where you've got, our dear friend Roger Lloyd Pack, who played Trigger, who sadly has left us now. But we're Trigger with his broom, and you still got people that will say, well, how long have you had that broom? It's it's 14 years or something. It's had 14 heads and 11 new handles, and apparently it's the same broom, but there are people in society just like that now. I bet, I don't want to put any or have any road sweeps come up to me and knock me over the head with their brooms. But I bet there are some out there who just think this is the same broom. I'm not getting rid of it because I've had this handle for so long, So, but it's that thing that it's the way people think. That's what John Sullivan got. It's the way people actually think and the way they work. And I think that's what makes it current today.
And talking about today, you said you still get recognised. So are people still stopping you in the street, shouting Jevon at you?
Yeah, totally, all the time. Oh yeah, there's not a day I'm going to go out and I don't get called Jevon from across the street, or Jevon. And even the little kids now, Jevon, you play Jevon, don't you? So it's constant. But I don't mind it. I quite enjoy it because, it's what I was in the business for, and certainly in television, you're going to be noticed, and it's wonderful to get noticed for something that actually people really appreciate. So no, I love it, to be quite honest.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. Have you got any sort of crazy fan stories from over the years? Any people are being a bit too much, not giving you enough space, or any following you?
Not particularly. I mean, back in the day, when we were doing it and shooting it, I mean, there was quite a you'd have on set when we were actually not on set, when we were actually on location. You used to have quite a few people that would turn up because they knew where we were shooting. How the hell they found out, I do not know. But there was once when we were in Margate shooting the Jolly Boys outing, and two old ladies who apparently used to watch the show came up, and they said, "Oh, there's Rodney. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and Trigger's there. And oh, look. And there's the black one. And this, her mate said to her, "That's Jevon," and that was quite funny because it's just the way they sort of related to it, you know, and how they saw my character, which was the only, well, apart from Paul Barber, it's the only black character in the show, to be quite honest.
Did you just let him get on with it?
Oh,
Did you say?
it's a matter of appreciation, you know, and it's a black character, and and I am black, so it's fine, it's great, because that's how she identified with me, and at least she gets the nudge from a mate who says, "Look, no, it's trouble," and I thought, just
I love the correction.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you are on screen there. I've got to ask, have you ever used it to your advantage in regards to like chat up lines? Has it got you in with the ladies?
I haven't used any of the chat up lines on ladies. I would think that's tacky. Does it get you recognized by the ladies, or let's say get more interest from the ladies? Yes, it does. I mean, I'd be a liar if I said it didn't. Do I take ladies up on it? Not particularly, really. I choose the ladies that I want to be with. But yes, of course, I get a lot of attention from the women from it. But that's television all over, to be quite honest.
Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. No, I like that. We've got a question in from someone watching. It's called Amber. It said, "What is your best or funniest memory from being on the show?"
My best, funniest memory from being on the show. It really is actually. It is and has to be, the moment of seeing Del fall through the bar, really, because it was the moment that I actually saw when it happened.
Really, you saw it?
Yeah, it was never originally scripted, you see. So I was doing my lines, and he was working, and a lighting cameraman. One of the Sparks who actually does the lighting, and that's what we call the Sparks. It's a lighting man, and he was asked by one of his teammates, "Oh, can you open the barn doors on that redhead?" And he went. He was actually standing behind the bar at the time. It was just a rehearsal. We get one for camera, you get one for sound, and you get one for the actors, you see. And then also for lighting tends to work around you while you're doing your rehearsal. So they're having this rehearsal for lighting, and so Del and Trigger are doing their bit, and this Spark was asked to open the barn doors on a redhead. A redhead is a lamp; it's just got an orange back to it. We tend to call it a redhead on TV. And so this Spark came out from behind the bar where he was observing things, lifted up the flap, and walked out. And that just at that moment actually was when Del went to lean on the bar. And he went to lean on the bar, and it was totally unscripted at that time. And he went straight through the bar. And we was like, "No, you got to keep that." And I was sitting up in what was an auditorium where we actually shot that. It was actually in a place, it did have a bar, but it's like had some seating that went up. And so Roger was actually just how he played it. It was like, "Well, where is he?" I'm upstairs doing my lines. I'm sitting in the auditorium doing my lines, and I'm thinking, "Steve, don't laugh, because the money's just falling through the bar, man. You don't laugh at this situation." And Roger, who's playing Trigger, is looking around. He's thinking, "Well, where is he?" But he literally. So that's how that actually really started, and that was my funniest moment. And actually, that was, although it was offset, it actually created something that when I see on TV, I just think, yeah, I know that moment closer than most.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I didn't actually realise it was unscripted. I know it was like the funniest scene, like that everyone always sort of talks about. But that is even better to know it wasn't even on purpose.
Originally, no, it wasn't actually. No, it was something that happened just by chance, and it was like, "Yeah, if you've got to keep that, that's got to go."
Oh, I love that. Talking about David Jason, actually, what does he like to work with?
I really enjoyed working with David, to be quite honest. We had a thing. Apart from sort of the work bit, and there's an interest that both myself and David have, which is motor cars and motorcycles. And David tends to rebuild old British motorcycles, and I ride motorcycles myself. So we used to have those little chats where I'd come in to North Acton at the rehearsal studios, and I'd ride my motorcycle in. And David was always, "Oh, what was it? How's it been like, Stephen?" That is because, see, when we're working, or when David's working, you get contracted not to get involved with any dangerous games or work with dangerous apparatus, which takes out your motorcycling generally. But, you know, me at the time, you know, I'm just a low little actor, so I could come in on my motorcycle, which apparently David Jason couldn't do that at the time. So that was good for me. So we used to always chat about that. And then, of course, his love for Jaguar cars and things. And I've got a love for cars and driving as well myself. So we have a rapport about things like that. And, you know, David used to say to me, Steve, what are you going to do when this happens to you? And I says, well, you know, we'll see when it happens. It happens. And he says, well, you know, I'll tell you what, learn to dive. It's the only place. You're not going to like this bit, but he says, learn to dive, Steve. It's the only place to press don't go. And I love that. Scuba diving, and I now do scuba dive. Yes, I do.
I mean, I can put my mask on, go underneath. It's fine.
I'll see you down there.
I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? If there's a story, I'm there. Would you say he's got any similarities to his characters? Any sort of Del Boy similarities between David himself?
No, I think he's a brilliant actor. Right? There's no similarities whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I don't. You know, he certainly. If you're working on the Only Fools and Horses team, you must be able to take a joke. That's without a doubt. You have to be able to take a joke. Offset, we're talking about. But no, he's nothing like the character, to be quite honest. He's just a great actor. You know.
I love that he was a little bit jealous that you had your motorbike, though. That's hilarious. That is great.
Yeah, you know, the time has come really when I'm really sort of got to the same sort of a place really where it's going to be very much where I won't be able to ride mine when I'm working either, to be honest. And I wouldn't take the chance because I'm sure they will sue you if things go wrong.
Yeah, better not.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Daniel. Do you keep in touch with the cast? Is there anyone you sort of speak to?
Oh, well, Daniel, not these days so much. We tend to meet up if we're out doing things together. But it's been 40 years, to be honest. And,
yeah, that is a good while.
A lot of us have changed, you know, and sadly, you know, a few of the cast have passed away. So it's not really. We've all got on to doing different things, I think, really these days. So it's basically there is the convention that happens more or less every year. It hasn't happened, I believe, for the last couple of years due to reasons that we all know. It's
we've got a picture of you with some of the cast there. Actually, it's with you with Paul Barber, isn't it? If we can get that picture up, please. That was at one of your conventions. There we go. This was at the convention, wasn't it?
That's right. Yes, yeah. And that's what we tend to meet. I mean, then that's once a year, but it's always great to see everyone when we get that. So it is Daniel, isn't it? So for Daniel, yeah, that's you don't really get a chance, but once a year if you do the conventions, then that's it. And it's always great to see everyone.
Yeah, I bet. But I mean, the cast has sort of notoriously been known that everyone sort of got on really well. It was a sort of fun, love, and happy set. I'm going to ask, was there any sort of secret squabbles going on behind the scenes that no one knew about?
No, actually, no, not at all. I mean, we really, really did get on. You know, it doesn't even sound crazy to me. I mean, I think most companies as actors get on fairly well, and Only Fools and Horses wouldn't work or wouldn't have worked if we didn't get on. And, you know, it's not only that, you know, even with working with John Sullivan as a writer, he wasn't too precious about his writing. He wrote great stuff anyway. And if something happened by chance, he was like, yeah, keep it, where you might get a lot of writers will say, oh, no, it has to be the way I wrote it. Oh, no, it's the way I... Well, John wasn't like that. And the cast, we all worked together. And if something worked for one of us in a scene, something happened, we would say, yeah, keep it. I'll work with you for doing it, you know. An example of that was my good old friend Mickey Pearce when he had a broken hand and came into work one day with a broken hand, and I said, fine, I'll wear a neck brace. You know, that's true, because that bit with a neck brace was never in there. It's just, well, you know, if Mickey Pearce has got a broken hand, then I'll wear a neck brace to support him as my friend and colleague as an actor. You know, and that's how we work, really.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. Sort of like a supportive unit going on. Oh, that's nice.
I mean, well, it makes it work better if you can get along, you know. And producing something like Only Fools and Horses, which is, you know, it's a comedy, and it's you know, situation comedy stroke other things really. There's so much going on with that program. I think that's what's made it the success that it is. No, you need to be able to work together, and I must say we all tend to get on really well. I don't think anyone has even come into the show, you know, even sort of people have just come in for an episode to play a particular character. We've all got along. It's been a great family, really.
Did you ever meet Uncle Albert? I think we got asked this.
Oh,
did you ever meet Uncle Albert and Granddad? Because they wanted to know. My cast wanted to know if they were as sweet in real life as they seemed on screen, both of them.
Right. Well, I didn't ever meet Granddad, but as far as Uncle Albert goes, yes, I met him, and well, we had a good few episodes together. You know, well, you know, that we were all in together, and he was quite a funny, eccentric old bloke, really. But and I don't think he ever really quite got me, you know, until sort of a nearer. You know, after a good few years of working together, but then he did come from a different era to myself. But he was it was great working with him. I sadly just never met Leonard at all. You know, he I think passed by the time I even started the show. I came in the show when we had Uncle Albert as our Uncle Albert. And yeah, that's yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to move on to the next question. Where are we? Did you get to keep anything from set? Any memorabilia, any outfits, any sort of things you snuck away with you? Is there anything you kept?
Well, at the time I didn't keep anything really. I didn't really, you know, I didn't think anything of it. It was one of those things. Got out of my costume, hung it in the dressing room. All my little bits and stuff, left them on the side, and left just like you leave any other program, really.
I guess maybe back then you didn't realise quite how big it would have been. So then it would have been worth keeping.
I didn't know it was going to be my last episode. You know, I left and went on to Eastenders and stuff. So I left, and sadly, you know, I wasn't able to do Only Fools and Horses. I was booked to do it, but BBC policy, I wasn't able to do the two major programs at the time, so I didn't ever go back to Only Fools and Horses, and I carried on playing Clyde Tavernier in EastEnders, and that was a great success for me because it was you know, it was something that was for me particularly, so it was worth taking that job on.
Of course. We've got a question from Lisa. So she says, what does he think of BritBox adding a warning to it? So I think BritBox has added a warning to the show because it's deemed to have used offensive racial content. I don't know if you've heard of that or what you think.
I have heard of that. I think what I've got to say about that, it was of its time. You know, it was of its time, and it's the zeitgeist, and that's it, really. I mean, I was never offended by it. If I was, I would have said, to be quite honest, I would have said, oh, you know, I'd have went to the producer or John Sullivan himself and say that, and you know, I'm not happy with this because I think that people are going to look at this in a different way, because production companies don't always see what the public can see. So I don't really have a problem with it. I just think it was the time. It's just like some of the sexist remarks that were made that, you know, you just wouldn't come out of a man's mouth today. You know, well, they wouldn't really. I think you get more than a heel in the back of your head on walking down the street. But you know, it was the time. You know.
Do you still think sorry? Do you still think it's in its right to be played and carry on to be aired to like new audiences? Then you don't think it should be like taken away? You think we should still be given?
I think they should keep it. I think people are more intelligent than, you know, some may give them credit for. I just think that people are much more in tune with what's going on. I mean, as I said earlier, you've got 5-year-olds that come up to me now and are so interested in the program. And I think if they were offended by things, or their parents, I think, you know, it would be said, because even the young kids, the 5-year-olds of today, are really clued up about culture and the, you know, the culture and the times that they are living in as well. And they're the first to say, youngsters of today, if they think something is racist or sexist. I mean, they'll be the first to tell you.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
true.
I've got to say, I'm going to have to wrap this up because I'm going to have to get off.
Okay.
I hope that's enough for you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just wrap it up. If there was a Christmas special, would you be keen on returning?
Well, there's not going to be really because John Sullivan, unfortunately, is not with us anymore, and I don't think any writer can ever write that program. So apart from John Sullivan, so I don't think it will ever happen.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough then. And before we go, we just wanted to know, was the Mandela House that was so famous, was it actually in the tower block at all? Was it filmed there, or is it just all a set?
It's all a set. The exteriors come from Peckham, and it's all a set. Yes.
Damn. People were holding out. Is there anything you want to say what you're up to now before we go? And I know you're doing a lot of writing now.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting myself onto a Celebrity MasterChef, and I'd love to say a big thank you to all the fans as well for all those years of support. But yes, it's MasterChef. Maybe you see me again in the Eastenders. And Celebrity Pointless, you can look out for that coming up to the Christmas because I'm on that too.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. But yeah, good luck with everything. Thanks so much for chatting today, Stephen. Really appreciate your time. And thanks everyone for watching.
Cheers.
Bye.